Today I will be discussing about gendered political representation, and it is a broad topic being at hand, and therefore I will be discussing it also in the future videos to come, but I will start it today. First, what is gendered political representation? By political representation, I here refer to politicians on regional, national and international level who are representing the citizens. And therefore the mandate for such political actions and representations are given by the citizens. And such an ideology can be closely linked to democracy, but it can also be seen as applicable for other kind of state governance as well, as long as the status quo is not notably threatened. And what makes political representation gendered is the fact that the political representatives are also representing a specific gender. In general, it can be said that there is more male political representation than female political representation. This dates back for the human centuries of the societal and cultural norms that the man was viewed as public, power, money, work, and dominance. And women, on the other hand, were viewed as private, caretaking, family, nurturing, and a part of the man's possessions. In modern societies, we know that those days are behind, and this is greatly thanks to the fact that both genders have entered to the working life. Therefore, they're both able to sufficiently provide for their own independence. Still, we still have structures, for example, the wage gap difference between men and women for equal work. But there are also things stating that we are somewhere completely different, at somewhere in a completely different place as a society than those days that are already supposed to be behind us. For example, one of the traits that indicates such a thing is that more women than men are entering universities. What this means in practice is the fact that the female sex will be in the future, possibly already in the near future, more highly educated than the male sex. Now, with that being said, it is important to turn the gaze to politics, because this is the place and the arena where the important societal decisions are being decided upon. So, on a national level, if we look at the parliamentary level, in two of the national parliaments there exists a female majority, and these two national parliaments are Rwanda and Bolivia. But there exists over 190 national parliaments on this earth. Let me repeat that there exists over 190 national parliaments, and in 11 of those parliaments exists the representation of 40% of both of the sexes, at least the minimum level, among the members of the parliament. This is an alarming issue when thinking about the whole world's populations, which is pretty much half and a half when it comes to the gender of the person, men and women wise. So, here we come to the core point. What is wrong in male dominance? What is wrong that there are so many men in politics and quite a few women? Here I will refer to a categorization done by Anne Phillips, who is a professor at London School of Economics. She has categorized the main arguments for female political representation into 4 categories, and the 4 categories are as follows. First one, the justice argument. Secondly, women's interests. Thirdly, towards revitalized democracy, and fourthly, the role model argument. First, the injustice argument. The justice argument, sorry, I'm already hopping ahead. So, The justice argument is based on the definition of the justice in general, which is abolishing discrimination. The male sex does not indicate any kind of ability of being more capable, efficient, or competent, or better at decision making, or better at problem solving than the female sex. Therefore, it is injustice from men to monopolize the political representation. So this is the first category group when it comes to the arguments. The second one is women's interests. When regarding women's interests, it is political realism. It is closely also linked to intersectionality, which I will be covering later as well. But political realism. In heterogenetic societies, there exists more than one opinion, and there might be opposing opinions as well. Therefore, it's not matter of irrelevance that who is representing these opinions and experiences. For female experience and for female background, it is of utmost importance that there is a woman presenting these experiences and interests. Of course, this goes naturally the other way around as well, that there needs to be a man representing the male interests. And this argument category has received criticism in intersectionalist point of view as well, that is there such a thing that women's interests? According to Phillips, it only strengthens the argument itself, because if there is uncertainty whether or not there would be such an interest group, or if the interests vary, it is even more important to have a person of that background and of that experience to be representing the group. Then thirdly, towards revitalized democracy. Of course, here's the carrot that the democracy would be the desirable and obtained model of society. But if we follow along that idea and along those lines, then gender has some sort of a factor on how a person is doing their policies. Gender affects the policy making. For example, and this is research-based information, women more often than men challenge the party politics and also challenge voting along and according to party discipline. Women more often than men utilize open forums such as consulting local people when it comes to decision making, and also women report more throughoutly their politics and political actions than men. Then last but not least, the role model argument. Phillips approaches the argument category in such a way that it doesn't have emphasis on politics per se, but in this context and in my opinion it has a great emphasis. And here directly quoting Phillips, when more women candidates are elected, their example is set to raise women's self-esteem, encourage others to follow in their footsteps, and dislodge deep-rooted assumptions on what is appropriate to women and men. In other words saying, when there is a female politician, she already opens up the whole image of what is politics and what it is to be a politician, and especially for the future generations, for young women and young men. That's all I have for now. Thank you for watching.